Good evening and welcome to Vinkoll, and especially welcome Peter from Tenuta Bellafonte. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Good evening to everybody, also from my part, from the sunny Italy.
Wow, so you are in the center of Italy. Tell me where you are.
Yes, Tenuta Bellafonte is in Umbria. Umbria is exactly in the heart. Is considered is north of Rome, south of Florence. It's a very green area where the most famous wine area is Montefalco, where I am and where we produce our wines.
Good and great to have you on the show. And we're going to talk about your winery, but especially we're going to talk about one of your wines that will be released in Sweden in the beginning or in the middle of October, on the 13th of October. And let me give it a try to pronounce the name of the wine. My Italian is not what it's supposed to be. So,
Collenottolo.
Collenottolo. Thank you. Collenottolo. What does it mean, by the way?
Collenottolo is the name of the place where is located the winery. Is Colle means hill, and Nottolo in the local dialect means the bats. So in the past should be a place where some bats has been seen. So we give this name because beside the winery there are also vineyards of Sagrantino. That is the variety that is 100% of the Montefalco Sagrantino.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's not too common grape, not even in Italy. There's, what is it? It's about 1,000 hectares, or are there more of Sagrantino?
Well, it's a little more, 500-600 hectares, but considering the great international variety, is a very small one. The interesting thing is that Sagrantino is very typical of our area and has a very strong character. Once you drink it, you remember it because it's a very peculiar variety. It has is quite tannic in terms of content, but the way we vinify it makes it a very interesting and movable wine. Clearly is made to be drunk with food because it's not the kind of wine that you drink at aperitif. But it gives a great a meal with, as an example, a good steak or something like that is perfect. And Sagrantino is really a great pleasure with food.
Yeah, and now we are, if I'm not mistaken, the release here in October in Sweden in the temporary assortment. It's the vintage of 2016.
Yes, we start to release this vintage also in another country, Italy, also. Because the process to prepare and to vinify the Sagrantino takes time. First of all, we make a very simple agriculture. So that means I don't like the word natural because it's a little abused now in the wine world. So I prefer to say it simple. That means that we don't use much, less as possible, and mainly products that are very compatible with the environment around us, and clearly that don't give any residual in the wine that we drink. Even more in the winery, we don't use any help, let's call it. We only use autochthonous yeast, so natural fermentation, and a long period in the large Slavonian oak barrel, 50 hectoliters, so very big. And this helped not to give too much wood taste to a wine that is rich by itself.
And when you say long time, sorry to interrupt, it's 36 months or something?
3 years, yes. 3 years at least. Sometimes we need even more, so it stays even 4. And after that, we bottle the wine without any filtering because the wine has to be alive. And in these 3 years, is clean enough to be bottled without filtering, has been decanted, so we throw away all the little particle that can be found. So it's a clean wine, but not filtered. We also vinify entire berries. This means that during the process we don't press the berries, we just destem it, and this help to have a very soft vinification, not to over extract the tannins that are in the berries. And
Understand?
we vinify at a very low temperature. This again, not to over extract and to preserve perfume. For me, wine, half of my drinking is done with my nose, so I like the perfume of the wine. So for me, it was very important, and it's still very important to preserve a good approach when you put your nose in the glass.
So a lot of hard work and a lot of time before we can enjoy the wine, right?
Sure, it's a long process, but it gives a great satisfaction when you finally open a bottle of Sagrantino. This is important to give the right time for a correct maturation, so that when you buy a bottle, you can immediately open. But not only, if you want to keep a Sagrantino, is a wine that may last for many, many years with a very nice and interesting evolution in the time. So it's important that the bottle are ready when they are put on the market, but it's not just that the only right time to drink it. It can be drank also many years
good that
ahead.
you mentioned. So if I go here to the Swedish stores in 13th of October, I pick up a number of bottles of the wine. I decide to this Friday open a bottle of wine. As you said, it's ready to drink. It's probably quite high tannins at this time, or what can you tell us about 2016 if you would drink it today?
If you drink it today, you have the tannins, but this is part of the Sagrantino. You will always have the tannins. The only question is, how are those tannins? And today, 2016, has smooth tannins. They are not aggressive. They are not harshy. They are not green. And they are sustained by a good acidity. It's a good time to drink it. And if you wait, you will have also some evolution that, by the way, with the Sagrantino is quite slow, so you can have this strong, vibrant wine also in some years.
And then I guess the obvious, what to pair it with food-wise. I need proteins and a bit of fat, meaning a nice piece of meat and a nice sauce, or what's your favorite combination?
Well, I may say that the wine has enough acidity to sustain also dishes with tomatoes, so that has some acidity. For example, a good pasta with ragu, that means tomato and meat, or a good steak, or in any case, any food with some fat that may help to the wine help to keep your mouth clean with this kind of food.
Yeah, good. And I think, when did you start the winery? Back in 2008?
And 8. My first vintage was 2008. I came from a different activity, so it was my first time in the wine, but with a lot of enthusiasm and the help of some good expert. Our wine consultant is Beppe Caviola, that is one of the famous winemaker in Italy. And I learn little by little, and vintage after vintage, I'm still learning, because every year is different one from the other.
Understand. And do you still have some of the 2008 vintage in the cellar?
Very few bottles, because pushed by the enthusiasm of my first vintage, I sold too many bottles, and I didn't kept enough for the long term and to see how this evolution. But some of them are still there, and very rarely we open it, and we see that it's still very vibrant, very alive, and is a good wine.
Great. And yeah, so maybe that's a good reason for people here in Sweden to how should I put it, buy more wines than you tend to drink, because you can save them for a long time, and you will regret that you don't have more of them in the basement, I guess, or in the cellar.
I suggest too, because it's a wine that gives great satisfaction also after some years, so you can drink when you have the right occasion, even in the future.
And imagine this, I got it right now, Collenottolo, 2016. It's released on the 13th of October in Sweden, and it's 349 Swedish kronas, which is 35 euros, a bit more actually. The currency has changed a bit, but roughly 35 to 40 euros. And ready to drink, as you say, but also a good keeper for the future. What more can one ask, right? That's perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
And for the Swedish people, the ordering or assortment number is 93662, and in the temporary assortment on 13th of October. And if one liked this wine, I know you make more wines that are available in Sweden, right?
Sure, we make another red, another area where we have our vineyards, and is a Rosso di Montefalco, and is based on Sangiovese, 80% Sangiovese and 20% Sagrantino. So it's a little less tannic, so it's more smooth and let's say for more daily use, and is a very, very nice wine that got very good reviews in Italy and abroad. And to white, out of a very ancient variety of Umbria that is called Spoletino, that was really disappeared 20 years ago, and now is coming back with very elegant and interesting wine. And again, wine that can age, that for a white is not so easy, but in the case of Spoletino, this happened and give a very, very longeve wine in the time.
Nice. So there's more wines to try. But for tonight, I think you explained a lot and learned us a lot about the grape and the process of making this wine. It's quite impressive, the time you spend on it. So I look forward to try it on the 13th of October. And whenever you're in Sweden, let me know.
And we'll be very happy. And you in Italy, and because the winery is open to visit, so everybody that would like to visit our region, come and visit our winery.
Thanks for the invitation. I'll make sure we'll visit you as well. Enjoy the evening in sunny Italy, as you said in the beginning. Stockholm is a bit gray, but yeah, you can't have everything, right?
Exactly, and that's the season. We have to follow the season. Must be there.
Take good care, Peter, and thanks for joining this tonight. Take good care.
Really,
bye-bye.
Thank you very much, and a presto. Bye.
Bye.